Hello students, my name is Leela. Today we will discuss about mechanical properties of solids in class 11th physics. So in that, first of all, rigid body. Rigid body means what I have written here, the body which cannot be deformed by using a deforming force. Deforming force, just take it as a force. By using a force, a body cannot be deformed. That body is called rigid body. Let us take this board only. I am applying some force on this. I am applying some force on this. Then what happening? Is it changing in any shape? It is not changing its shape and dimensions. Nothing but for some extent I can take this board as a rigid body. But whenever I am hitting with a hammer, then what happens? It will be deformed. Nothing but shape of the board will be changed as compared to the original shape. So the body which cannot be deformed, nothing but the shape and size of the body cannot be changed by using a deforming force. That type of body is called what? Rigid body. In reality, there is no perfect rigid body, but we will take diamond is the nearest example of rigid body. Diamond is the example of, that is not exactly rigid body, but that is a near to rigid body. So rigid body means which cannot be deformed by using, nothing but by applying any deforming force. So what is deforming force here? Deforming force. Deforming force. See, whenever I have taken this one, I have taken this cloth, I am applying some force on this so that I can change its shape. Whenever I am leaving, then again it is coming back to the original shape. So you just leave about that it is coming or not. First of all, I am just using some force to change its formation. That force what we call nothing but deforming force. Nothing but the force which is used to, which can be used to change dimensions of the body. Dimensions of the body. Nothing but formation will be changed. The formation of the body will be changed by using one force. That force what we call, that is deforming force we call as. Then after that, elastic body. Elastic body. So elastic body means what? Elastic body means, let us take a rubber. Whenever we are taking the rubber, whenever I am applying force in both the sides, what happens? The rubber will be stretched, elongated. Then whenever I am leaving that, then what happens? It will go back to the original size. So that body can be elastic body, but we cannot say that elastic is rubber is perfectly elastic body. For example, I will take this one only, this cloth only. I am applying a force on this so that I am able to change its shape and size, and then I am leaving after that, again it is coming back to the original shape and size. So this body also can be called as elastic body. Elastic body nothing but what? Whenever, see, I am applying deforming force here, so that what happening, its shape is changing. Whenever I am just removing the deforming force, whichever I am applying, I am just removing the deforming force, so that what happening, it is coming to the original dimensions. That bodies, that type of bodies what we can call nothing but elastic bodies. So elastic body is nothing but after removal of deforming force, the body can get back its original dimensions. Its original dimensions. Elastic body nothing but whenever we are removing the deforming force, then body is coming back to its original dimensions. For example, I take the spring. I will take the spring. Here in this spring is there. In this spring is there. So what happening? Nothing but I am applying some force on this, so that the spring is getting deformed. Whenever I am just removing that force, again it is going back to the original dimensions. So this also can be an example of elastic body. So nothing but whenever you are removing the deforming force, then what happening? Nothing but the body is getting back to its original dimensions. That type of body what we call nothing but elastic body. So perfectly elastic, the example of perfectly elastic is quartz. Perfectly elastic. elastic body is quartz. Then perfectly plastic body. Perfectly plastic body. See, after removal of the deforming force, it is coming back to the original dimensions, nothing but that is which body? Elastic body, which is not coming to the original dimensions. That body we can call as perfectly plastic body. Whenever I am applying a deforming force, then what happening? It is just losing its dimensions, original dimensions. It is changing by the shape and then dimensions. Whenever I am removing that, whenever it is going back to the original dimensions, that we call elastic body. It is not going to the original dimensions, nothing but that we can call as what? Plastic body. So perfectly plastic body, nothing but after removal of deforming force, the body cannot get its original dimensions. See, it can get nothing but that is elastic body. It cannot get the original dimensions, nothing but plastic body. Example of this, common example is clay. Whenever I have taken the clay, if I just mold it with any shape, then by its own, whenever I am removing my hand on that, it cannot go back to its original dimensions by its own. It cannot go. Whichever, for example, I have taken a ball of clay and then on that I am just pressing. Then what is happening? Nothing but it is becoming flat like disc shape. Whenever I am removing my hand, can it come back to ball only again? It cannot come back as ball. It will be like disc only. So that we can call as what? Perfectly plastic body. After removing of deforming force, what happening? It is coming to the original dimensions, nothing but elastic. It is not coming to the original dimensions, nothing but that is plastic body. So just take the notes. Pause the video and then take notes. This is about rigid body and then plastic body and then elastic body. Rigid body nothing but which is very strong. We cannot deform it by applying any deforming force. Whenever we are removing the deforming force, it is coming back to the original shape and size, nothing but that is elastic body. It is not coming back to the original shape and size, nothing but that is plastic body. This is what we have seen till now. Next very important, that is stress. What do you mean by stress? For example, I am just taking a rod. So, of cross sectional area is how much? Nothing but A. Then what happening? Nothing but I am just applying a force here. A deforming force I am applying. So that what happens? The length will be increases. For example, I will take this spring only. I will take. So just observe that spring. Then what happening? Nothing but I am just applying a force here. So that what happening? The spring is getting elongated. So whenever I am leaving, then what happening? It is going back to the original size again. So how it is going back? What is acting inside? Whenever I am just pulling it down, it is again pulling me back. In upwards it is pulling me back by applying the same force. That force we call as restoring force. Restoring force. In the case of spring, what we call? Nothing but spring force we will call. You might be know that the spring, if I apply force, external force F on the spring, inside of the spring what will be developed? Nothing but spring force will be developed whenever it is having a spring constant K, and then by applying the force we are just displacing by X, elongating by X, then you might be know that Fs is equals to minus Kx. You know that Fs is equals to minus Kx. Why? Because the displacement is there in this direction and then spring force is there in opposite direction. So that Fs is equals to minus Kx. Nothing but the spring force is acting opposite to the external force. In the same way here also, whenever I have taken the rod and that rod I am applying a force F, external force F, so that it is trying to coming back to the original shape and size. Otherwise, in that what will be developed? Nothing but stress will be developed. You might be know that whenever I have taken a string and then a mass m is there on this, attached to this, then what happens? Downwards mg will be acting, upwards what is acting? Tension will be developed in the string. So same here also, here we call it as whenever it is it is applied by some weight, then tension will be developed in the string. So here whenever we are applying the force on that, here opposite direction restoring force is acting. So only whenever I am pulling the spring, it is going back to the original position, nothing but this side somebody is acting. Who is that? Some force is acting. Who is that? That is restoring force. Restoring force is acting in opposite direction. So the stress is nothing but the restoring force acting upon unit area is called stress. The restoring force acting upon the area is called stress. So here can I say that Fr is equals to F? Yes, Fr is equals to F in magnitude. Fr is equals to F. In direction both are opposite obviously, but in magnitude can I say that Fr is equals to F? Why? Because as I increase the external force, then what happening? Internal force, nothing but restoring force also getting increased. Both are same only. So that stress is equals to restoring force by area. Why? Because restoring force is equals to external force. So that simply force by area. Stress nothing but the restoring force acting upon the unit area is called stress. So first of all, let us see the units of stress. Units of stress nothing but here force is there, here area is there. What are the units of force? Newton. And then what are the units of area? Meter square. So Newton meter square is the units of stress. Then or we can call it as Pascal. That we will discuss in mechanical properties of fluids. So Pascal is the unit of pressure. Again pressure formula also force by area only. Just leave about that now as per now. First of all, stress nothing but the restoring force acting upon unit area is called stress. Then the units are Newton per meter square or Pascal. Can you say me the dimensional formula of that? Dimensional formula. Dimensional formula of stress. Stress. Dimensional formula. Force by area. Force by area. Force nothing but what? Mass into acceleration. Mass into acceleration nothing but, can you tell me the dimensional formula? What is that? ml t power minus 2. Why? Because F is equals to ma. Mass is nothing but what? kg. Acceleration is meter per second square. Kg symbol in dimensions, capital M. Meter symbol is L. Second square divided by second square nothing but that will be t power minus 2. So force nothing but ml t power minus 2, that divided by area is how much? Meter square nothing but L square only, na? Then what it will be? L minus 1 t power minus 2. Whenever this L square is coming up, then it will become L into L power minus 2, so that it will be L power minus 1. This is the dimensional formula of stress, and then units of the stress are Newton per meter square. What is the definition of the stress? The restoring force acting upon a unit area is called stress. The restoring force acting upon a unit area is called stress, and force divided by area will be the formula. And then units are force nothing but Newton, area nothing but meter square, and then dimensional formula is Newton nothing but force dimension formula is ml t power minus 2, and that divided by meter square nothing but again L square. So that altogether what we get? L minus 1 t power minus 2 is the dimensional formula of stress. Let's note down this. Then next we will discuss the types of stress. So types of stress are mainly, first of all we will discuss of the first type, that is longitudinal stress. Longitudinal stress. Longitudinal stress nothing but See, whenever we have taken the same rod again, on this how we are applying the force? In this direction. So this is the area we have taken. How we are applying? What is the angle between the force and area here? How much angle is there? How the force is acting? First of all, normally. In longitudinal stress, nothing but the force should act normally, so that restoring force also will act in which direction? Normal direction only. So the restoring force will act in normal to the area. That type of stress, whenever that type of stress we call as what? Longitudinal stress. The restoring force will act normal to the area, so that whenever you take that stress developed is called longitudinal stress, and force is perpendicular to area. So in this longitudinal stress, two types will be there. First one is tensile stress. Tensile stress, nothing but, for example, I will take directly an example. I have a pulley here, and then a string is passing over the pulley, and then here small mass is there, small mass m is there. So here what happens, whenever in the second case, if I take the same pulley again and the same string again, but now I am increasing the mass. Whenever I am increasing the mass, then what happens? The string will get elongated. Nothing but the length of the string changes. Here it will come like this. This is capital M, very big mass. So here what happening? Tensile stress, nothing but the length of the object, whichever we are taking, the length of the string is getting increased by applying a normal force. How we are applying the normal force here? See here, this is the area of the string, and then we are applying the force in this direction. So that is obviously normal to the string only. Like this only we are doing here. But what happening? Tensile stress, nothing but the length of the object will get increased. That type of stress, what we call? Nothing but tensile stress. Length increases. Next one is compressive stress. In compressive stress, what happens means, for example, I'll take sponge. I have taken the sponge. So cylindrical shaped sponge I have taken. On that, what I am doing? Nothing but I am applying a force F on that. So this one is fixed. I am just applying a force on that. So that what happens? The height of the sponge will decreases or not? The height of the sponge decreases. So how it will be? Nothing but now, after applying the force, it will become short. Like this. Inside, from inwards, who is pushing that out? Who is acting? Which force is acting inside? Restoring force is acting inside. To oppose that, to go back to the original position again, restoring force is acting inside. So here length is increasing, nothing but that will be tensile stress, and then compressive stress, nothing but length decreases. If the length decreasing, that stress, what we call? That type of stress, that stress developed whenever the length is decreasing is called compressive stress. The stress developed whenever the length is increasing, that type of stress, what we call? Tensile stress. But in the tensile stress and then compressive stress, always force should act normally to the area. This is the area, means the force should act normally. This type of longitudinal stress also we call as normal stress. Why? Because the force is acting normal to the surface area. Here also the force is acting normal to the surface area. So F should be perpendicular to the area. In the two types of stresses are there. The stress developed whenever the length of the string is getting changed, length of the string is increasing. That type of stress we call as tensile stress. The stress developed whenever the length is decreasing, that type of stress, what we call? Nothing but compressive stress. We call. Now longitudinal stress is finished. Next, volume stress. So here, for example, I have taken a ball. Let us take smiley ball. We will take smiley ball. Here. Then what happening? Nothing but I'm just applying force on this from all the directions. Then what happens generally? Generally what happens? The volume will get decreased. Initially it was this much. Now the volume is getting decreased. Now the ball is like this. Okay. Then here from inside, who will be acting inside? Restoring force will be acting. In all the directions, restoring force will be acting. See, in all the directions I am pressing this. Nothing but force is acting on each and every unit of area. On each and every unit area I am applying the force, so that I am just squeezing this ball. So the volume is changing. Whenever the volume is decreasing or increasing, then in this the stress will be developed. That type of stress what we call nothing but volume stress or bulk stress we call. Bulk stress. Nothing but the stress developed when the volume of object is changing. Nothing but the restoring force is acting on each every unit of area of the body. Otherwise you can say that the restoring force acting on each unit area of the body in all the directions. That type of stress what we call nothing but, generally stress nothing but what? Force upon area. Force should act on each unit area of the body in all the directions is called volume stress or bulk stress. Otherwise the stress developed when the volume of the object is changing. For example, I am just decreasing the volume here, nothing but I am applying the force from all the directions, so that from inside also force will be there on my hands, otherwise on the surface of the ball, to get back to its original shape again. So this restoring force on each unit of area is called volume stress. In all the directions it should act. That we call as what? Volume stress. Next one is shear stress. So the stress developed in the body, when the stress will develop. So for example I have taken this one. I have taken this box, so that what happening nothing but I am applying force in this direction. Once again I am applying force in this direction. So the initially how it was like straight normal rectangular shape, cuboid shape. Then what happening nothing but I am applying the force on only one face tangentially I am applying the force, so that what happening, it is bending. This one down one is fixed, it is fixed with my hand, and then I am just applying the force in this direction, so that what happens nothing but it is getting bended. So initially it was like this, and then now it is becoming like this. Nothing but where I am applying the force, I am applying the force on only surface of the body. So whenever I am applying the surface of the body, how it is coming back to the original shape again? Because inside which force is acting? Restoring force is acting. Restoring force is acting on the area, that what we call nothing but, that type of stress what we call nothing but shear stress we call. So diagrammatically I will show you that clearly. So shear stress nothing but, this is or we call as tangential stress. So what we can say nothing but, for example, I have a block like this. So what I am doing, I am just applying the force on this side. I am just applying the force on this surface of the body. Then what happening nothing but, it is getting bended like this. It is getting bended like this. So the shape of the body is changing. Whenever I leave this force, then what happens here inside? Restoring force will be acting, that will get back the body to the original shape again. So the stress developed, the restoring force acting on the area is called shear stress or tangential stress. The the tangential restoring force, acting on the area of the body is called shear stress or tangential stress. Nothing but just remember, for now you just remember that I am applying force on one face of the body, one surface of the body, so that what happening, nothing but it is getting bended. So how much it is getting bended and all that we will discuss in strain. So as for now, stress nothing but what? The restoring force acting upon the unit area is called stress. In that different types we discussed, and also stress formula is force by area. And then first one, longitudinal stress or normal stress. In longitudinal stress, force should act normally to the area. In the two types are there. One is which one? First one is tensile stress. In that length of the body is changing. Next one is what? Compressive stress. In that length of the body is decreasing. The stress developed when the body length is changing, that is called tensile. Whenever the stress developed, whenever the body length is decreasing, that stress what we call nothing but compressive stress. Whenever you come to the another type of stress, what is the type of stress? Nothing but volume stress. Volume stress nothing but the restoring force, the force I am applying on the ball like this, so that inside what will act, nothing but the restoring force will act on each unit of area in all the directions. That type of stress what we call nothing but volumetric stress or bulk stress. Next is shear stress. Shear stress nothing but the stress developed when the shear stress will be developed whenever the restoring force is acting only one surface area, any one surface area, tangential. The restoring force should be tangential to the surface area. That time whatever the stress developed, that stress what we call nothing but shear stress. Next we will discuss about strain. Make a note of this. Next topic is strain. Strain. See what is strain means. For example, I have taken a rod here. I have taken a rod. So on that rod, what I am applying nothing but I am applying a force F. So that what happens? It will get elongated or not? It will get elongated. So it is getting elongated by delta L, or we call as elongation E. Anything is same only. So initially the length of the rod is how much? Nothing but L. Whenever I am applying the force, I am pulling it down, then it is elongated by how much? Nothing but E or delta L. Then strain nothing but what? Dimensions are changing or not here? Length is one of the dimension, it is changing. So strain nothing but change in the dimensions to the original dimensions. The ratio of change in dimensions to the original dimension is called strain. If we take the same spring example here, so here I am just applying some weight on this. So here it is at 0. Can you able to see this? It is at 0. Now what I am doing nothing but the marker is at 0. Here I am applying some weight. So that it is becoming as how much? Nothing but 2.5 kg. See here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 are there, each of 50 grams. So that how much it is there? Nothing but 2.5 kg. 2.5 kg or 250 grams. I'm sorry. 250 grams weight is acting on this. So it is the length is increasing from 0 to 2.5. Length is increasing from 0 to 2.5 newtons. 2.5 newtons. So this is the delta L. Nothing but 2.5. 2.5 minus 0 will be the delta L, and original length is how much? 0. For example, it is starting from 1. Let us take. So for example, the same spring I have taken. Here the marker is showing as 1. Now I am applying some weight for this, so that what happening? Nothing but it is getting elongated up to how much? Nothing but 2.5. Up to 2.5. Then what I said, strain means change in dimensions to the original dimensions. What is the original dimension here? 1 centimeter, otherwise 1 meter will take. 1 meter is the original dimensions. 2.5 meters, it is becoming as 2.5 meters whenever I apply some mass here. Then delta L will be how much? 2.5 minus 1 will be 1.5 will be the delta L. Then 1.5 divided by 1 will be the strain. Change in dimensions, the ratio of change in dimensions to the original dimension is called strain. So here also, here change in the dimensions is what? What is change in dimensions here? Delta L. Original dimensions, change in the length is delta L, original length is how much? L. So that strain what I can call here? Delta L by L. That is one of the strain, one of the type of the strain. First of all, strain definition is what? Strain is equals to change in dimensions, the ratio of change in dimensions to the original dimensions. That might be anything, that might be volume, that might be area, that might be length, anything that might be, but the strain nothing but change in dimensions to the original dimensions is called strain. In that different types are there. In that first type is longitudinal strain. Longitudinal strain. What is the meaning of longitudinal strain? In the name itself it is there, longitudinal, nothing but which is changing here, length is changing. This is the best example. Length of the object is changing. So longitudinal strain nothing but what I can say simply change in length, the ratio of change in length to the original length. Change in length to the original length. How much changed length is changed? How much? Delta L. So that here delta L by L gives you the longitudinal strain. Next, whenever you take the volumetric strain, so in longitudinal strain which is changing? Length is changing. In volumetric strain what will changes? Obviously volume will changes. That is what I can say delta V by V, change in the volume to the original volume. For example, again let us consider the same smiley ball here. So this is having initially volume V. In all the directions I am applying force. In all the directions I am applying force to change its volume. Then what happens? It will get compressed. It is getting compressed. How much volume is changing here? This is the change in volume. How much that is? Delta V. Initially volume is, let me take V1. Final volume is becoming as how much? V2. This change in the volume is how much? Nothing but delta V. So that what I can write? Volumetric strain nothing but change in dimensions, the ratio of change in dimensions to the original dimensions. Which dimension is changing here? Volume is changing. So change in the volume by original volume gives you volumetric strain. Next is shear strain, which is very important. Shear strain. Shear strain means what? What I said, shear nothing but, shear stress nothing but the restoring tangential force acting upon unit area is called shear stress I called. So shear strain means what? The same example again we'll take. The same example. Here I am applying a force F, so that what happening here? It is getting bended. It is getting bended like this. Like this is getting bended. So let me take the top surface is getting displaced by X. And the height of this one is, height of this block is H. So how much it is bending? Let me take that angle as phi. So shear strain nothing but change in dimensions to the original dimensions. How much it is changing? The dimension, the top surface is displaced by how much? X. And the original height of the block is how much? Height of the face, nothing but length of the face is how much? H. So that here phi we can call as shear strain. So now tell me, from this triangle, from this particular triangle, tan phi is equals to what? Tan phi is equals to opposite by adjacent. For this angle, if we take, for angle x is opposite, h is adjacent. So can I say that x by h, tan phi is equals to x by h. Then whenever phi is very small, phi is very small. Let us consider this angle is very small. Only a small amount of displacement is there in the top surface. For example, the same example again I will take. So here, by applying a force on this, then what happening? Nothing but its dimension is changing, its shape is changing. Initially it was there like this, and then whenever I am applying a small force, then what happening? It is bending little bit, very small angle I am taking. So here it was there initially here, at this point it was there initially at this point. Now whenever I am applying the tangential force, the point is getting displaced or not? It is getting displaced. By how much amount? Nothing but x amount. But this one, this length of the face, how much I am taking? Nothing but h. How much angle it is bending? Nothing but tan phi is equals to opposite by adjacent, that is x by h. So whenever phi is very small, we know that tan phi is equals to, tan phi approximately equals to phi. Tan phi is equals to phi, that is equals to, tan phi value is how much? X by h. This x is what here? Change in the dimension of the top surface. H is the original dimension of this surface. So that change in dimensions by original dimensions, change in dimensions upon the original dimensions is called what? Strain. So shear strain will be denoted by phi. Phi is equals to x by h. Nothing but change in the dimension of the displacement of the upper surface divided by the height of the surface of the body. So that phi is equals to x by h. This is very important formula for the problem. For the problems it is very important. So shear strain nothing but phi is equals to x by h. What is x here? Displacement of the top surface. H nothing but the length of the surface of the body whichever we have taken here. So this is about the strain. Strain nothing but change in dimensions to the original dimensions. Longitudinal nothing but which is changing? Length is changing. Change in length by original length. Volumetric nothing but which is changing? Volume is changing. So change in the volume by original volume. Then whenever you come to the shear strain nothing but the displacement of the top surface of the body into the length of the body, length of the surface of the body, that is h. So phi is equals to x by h gives you the shear strain. Let's make a note of this and we will do some problems. Yeah, write a problem. The ratio of radii of two wires, the ratio of radii of two wires of same material is 2:1. Of same material is 2:1. Then find if they are stretched by the same force, then find the ratio of stress. Find the ratio of stress if they are stretched by same force. So they are asking the ratio of radii of two wires of the same material. Nothing but material is same. Any wire you can take, any copper wire like that. Same materials is 2:1. Then find the ratio of stress if they are stretched by the same force. So stress formula, main formula of stress. Stress is equals to, what is the formula? Stress is equals to force by area. We are talking about two wires. Let us take first wire, then force 1 by area 1, then stress of the second wire, then is equals to force 2 by area 2. So the ratio of stresses only you have to find out. Find the ratio of stress. Then they are telling that they are stretched by the same force. Stretched by the same force nothing but, can I say F1 is equals to F2? F1 is equals to F2. So that what we can do? F1 and then F2 gets cancelled. Then what is remaining for us? stress 1 by stress 2 is equals to stress of the first wire by stress of the second wire is equals to A2 by A1. What is the area of the wire? Area of the wire, if you take very thin wire, if you take, then what is the area of that one will be pi r square. So this will be pi r2 square by pi r1 square. Pi gets cancelled. Then what is remaining? R2 by R1 whole square. Then R2 by R1 whole square nothing but the ratio of their radii they have given already. They have given as R1 is to R2. They have given as R1 is to R2. So that R2 by R1 nothing but what we can write? 1 by 2 I can write. So that 1 by 2 whole square, that is nothing but 1 by 4. This is the ratio of stress. First of all, they are giving ratio of radii. How much that is? 2:1. And then they are asking to find the stress whenever they are subjected to the same force. So stress formula is force by area. Stress of the first wire to the stress of the second wire is equals to F1 by A1 divided by F2 by A2. Then they are telling that same force is acting nothing but F1 is equals to F2, so that F1 F2 gets cancelled. Then stress of the first wire to the stress of the second wire is equals to A2 by A1. What is the area of the wire? That will be pi r square. So pi r2 square divided by pi r1 square. Pi gets cancelled here. I am just writing it as r2 by r1 whole square. R1 by R2 how much they are given? 2:1. R2 by R1 will be how much? 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 whole square, that is nothing but 1 by 4. This is the ratio of stress of the two wires. Ratio of stresses of two wires. Stress 1 is to stress of the second wire is equals to 1:4. Easy problem.